What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode number 21 of our Cincinnati Reds franchise. And in this one, it's going to be a loaded episode. I'm not going to lie to you guys. We got free agents to talk about. We got head coaches to talk about, some coaching staff changes, some exclusive free agent signings going on, and as well as the anticipated, the weighted event, the playoff bracket. And who's going to be our offseason advisors. So we're going to do that first because we have to, right? In order to get to the offseason, we have to do this. So I'm going to do this live, and I'm going to show you guys who the winners were. And after that, after the bracket has been completed and we know who won the World Series, I'm going to make a hard cut. So you guys are going to see that hard cut. It's not fudged up in any way because you guys will be seeing this live. And I'm going to make that hard cut and then show you guys who were the winners. So I'm going to put that up on the screen so you guys can see it for transparency. So let us go ahead and get into it, and then after that we'll go straight into the offseason. So I'm actually going to go to the Cubs schedule so that way we can see automatically who's going to win on the other side of the National League Divisional Series. Simulate through the date. So the Cubbies lost. They lost to the Nationals. Yowza. So let's see who won on the other side. So we got Cleveland and Boston, Washington and Milwaukee. Nobody picked Milwaukee. Wow. So what a twist, guys. Holy cow. I was looking at that bracket. Nobody picked Milwaukee. That is crazy. So let's just go ahead and go to Milwaukee. Let's go to Milwaukee's little schedule here. And let's see how they're going to fare against the Nationals. So they lost. So the Nationals are going to the World Series, but they took them to 7 games, and we've got the Nationals and the Red Sox. So let's go ahead and go to the Nationals. It seems like every team that I go to loses. So maybe we should just go to Boston, right? Because I'd rather have the Nationals than Boston. But yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. Oh, we got 1 game left. 1 game left. Porcello against Gio. The Red Sox have won the 2018 World Series. So there's your final brackets, guys. I will be right back as I'm going to tally them up and show you guys who the offseason advisors are going to be. All right, guys, so up on the screen, you will see who won it. We had 5 points was the high. So we had 4 guys to actually get 5 points. So we got Sanjeev, we've got Alex V, Young Billionaire, and let's see, who's the other 5? Optimus Narkle. That's a pretty funny name. I don't know what it means, but it's pretty funny. So you guys all had the Red Sox winning the World Series, I believe. Yep. So we got Sanjeev had the Red Sox, Optimus had the Red Sox, Young Billionaire, and where else? Oh, nope. So Alex V actually had the Nationals winning it. So, but he still had the Red Sox and the Nationals in the World Series. And I think all of you guys did, except for Optimus. Well, no matter. Doesn't matter. So you guys are the offseason advisors, so congratulations. 4 people won it, so you guys all tied. For those of you guys that are winners that don't respond to this video, don't post a comment or post an opinion on what we're going to get ready to talk about in this video, I'm going to have to resort to the backups, so the guys who finished in second. So whoever finished in second would have been Nathan Kern. So he had 4. And then Nathan, if you don't respond, then I'm going to have to go towards my 3s. So Noah Gayhart, K-May, Octagonal Gaming, Grandma Taters. Yeah, so all you guys that got 3, Chad Campbell and JR Wadby. So yeah, that's how we're going to run it, guys. So make sure that you're paying attention and you're offering your comments and your suggestions, your advice, so on and so forth. And one disclaimer I want to put out there, guys, is please don't do this. Sign Paul Goldschmidt because he's good. Right? Don't post that comment. Right? Give me some brevity. Give me something. Give me some paragraphs. Give me some reasons why. Right? Give me some some content to go off of, some rationale, right? Act like this is a thing where you're going up to your general manager and pushing that paper across his desk and saying, sir, this is what I really think that we should do. I really think that we should go after Paul Goldschmidt because of his age, his contract, what he's looking for, something like that. And that's what this is going to be, guys. We're going to go in depth with some of our moves. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We got some coaching changes to make. All right, so before we get into that, we got Billy Hatcher, third base coach, decided to retire. Pitching coach contract is ended. And we got some retired players to look at. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Just go through this really quick. See anybody that stands out. So Homer Bailey, he is retired. Jacob May is retired. There was a guy that actually wanted me to go after Jacob May. I didn't end up doing it. I think I just forgot. I'm sorry. I know we were really talking about it, and I thought that would have been a nice little trade to make. Only 27 years old. So he's retired in this series. We got James Shields, Rajai Davis, Adam Rosales. A thorn in everybody's side, it seems, every time you try to pitch against him in this freaking game. Albert Pujols, he has retired. So he finished his career with 622 bombs and a 305 batting average. I think it's about, if you want to keep that batting average in the 300s at that age, you want to be a career 300 hitter, that was probably smart to do that. So Matt Shoemaker out of Michigan. Ooh, injury. Yep. Torn rotator cuff. 32 years old, just not going to be able to throw and be the same. Iwakuma, Jason Worth. Bartolo, no! Bartolo! He finally called it quits, guys, at 45 years old. He is amazing. He's absolutely amazing, guys. 20 years in the major leagues and the last standing member of probably the greatest video game, the greatest baseball video game to ever be made. Ken Griffey Jr., 1997 or 1998. The one that was on the N64. Yeah, that was my jam. That was my game for sure. He's the last guy. He was the last guy in the current major leagues in this season, 2018, to have been a part of that game. And he was young. He was pitching for the Indians at that point. So, yeah, that was definitely my stuff. And he was throwing like 95, guys. For those of you guys that are really young and you don't remember that, yeah, Bartolo was skinny, threw a hard sinker, cutter type of thing. Yeah, he was tough. He was really tough. Adam Wainwright, Bud Norris, Clayton Richard, and then we got some free agencies retiring here. Jose Bautista, Dante Bichette Jr. What? He would not retire, guys. I think that was an OSFM mistake for sure. Didn't get him on any roster, and just the overall rating just really killed him too. But so that's our retirees. Albert Pujols makes it into the Hall of Fame. Well-deserved. One of my favorite players of all time. So Pujols is in. So before we get into the next phase, we do have to exclusive free agent negotiate. So we're going to go in here and sign Matt Harvey. And we're not going to do it for 5 years. I'm just not going to go that route. Let's just go 550 depth. He's going to sign that for sure. Let's bolster that bullpen. Maybe if we hire some starters, maybe we can push Harvey into the bullpen. But let's look at the staff. I do want to address this. So Brian Price is obviously not the manager of the Reds anymore. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that and pull the trigger on my own with that. Don Long, I mean, you can't be a hitting coach like that, guys. -2, -1, like, not going to put up with that either. Let's see. Freddie Benavides, probably not a very good first base coach. What's interesting is I think sometimes once you get rid of guys, and depending on the position that you offer them next, like they actually have a different role, so to speak. Not ROLE role, but they have a different like dice roll of what attributes they're good at or what they can focus at, depending on the position that you're going to hire them for. So I'm interested in seeing what like Brian Price's attribute role would be now that we've let him go. But first base coaches, I mean, I really want to look at like fielding is a big thing for me. Fielding, especially for Senzel and Peraza, maybe even Jeanette. I want some of those guys to get better at their fielding, at their glove work, just because we had a lot of issues out there during the season with errors and arm strength and things like that. I still feel like if Senzel can really get the arm strength and the fielding going, he's going to be a really, really valuable player at shortstop for us. But take a look at this. I'm going to go ahead and do this on my own, though, because if you guys look at the calendar here, November 7th is the last day for exclusive negotiations with players. And what ends up happening here, as I've noticed, is that a lot of these managers start getting a lot of offers. And what I don't want to do is wait so long and just simulate back here in the 8th, 9th, and 10th that a guy that we would really like to use would get hired by somebody and then we're stuck with whatever, right? So I don't want to wait too long on that. So I'm going to actually go ahead and make my own decision on the manager being hired. And then once we start getting back here, that's when we can start looking at our free agency list. So I'm going to go look at managers, and I'm going to show you guys, just for transparency, who is available. So we got Dave Roberts, Joe Madden, Doug Brocail, who I'm actually leaning towards, AJ Hinch, Buck Showalter. We've got Ramon Santiago, would be a nice first base coach, right? So let me look at here. I want to see if... Yeah, see, now look at this. First base coaches for hire. Freddie Gonzalez has an A attribute grading for that. But if you look at down here, where is he at here? He's down here somewhere. I know he is. Maybe he's down here. Freddie Gonzalez. Look at George Lombard, too. He's an F. That's so bad. But, I mean, look at Doug Brocail, right? If you hire him for a hitting coach, he's a B attribute grade. And look at those stats right there. 3 contact, negative, 2 power, right? But when you go to managers for hire, Doug Brocail is an A attribute with 2 power, 3 contact, right? So there's different dice rolls for what they can offer you depending on the position available. So I want to look at pitching coaches, number 1, and look at Freddie Benavides. I mean, hits per 9, walks per 9. He'd be a great guy to move from third base coach, where we originally, first base coach from when we had him, over to a pitching coach. And I say that, guys, because walks per 9 at a +3 and a hits per 9 with a +3, that's going to give a big boost to those young guys like Amir Garrett, Finnegan, Stevenson, guys with walks issues, guys with whip issues. He'd be huge to get. I mean, basically all we did was just say, Freddie, we're going to move you from being our first base coach to being a pitching coach. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do it, depending on if there's anybody else here. And like I said, I like to keep it realistic and not sign guys like, oh, there's Andy Chandler. I don't even know who that is, right? And I think Freddie is real. I don't know for sure. So let's go ahead and give him an offer here. See if he likes it. And he doesn't really. He's kind of ho-hum on it. So let's bump up the salary a little bit. It's like 4 or 5. Well, maybe a little lower. Maybe 4. Okay, so pitching coach for hire. Let's see what Freddie can give us. First base coach for hire. let's go with, Freddie Gonzalez. Why not? Right? Why not? Real coach. Let's see, 3.4. Okay, so that's not too bad. All right, third base coach. I think we had a guy retire. I think we can go unrealistic here. Right? We can do that. We can just find a guy that's going to be solid for us. There's arm strength. What was Freddie? So Freddie Gonzalez is a +1 for fielding. Yeah, we need arm strength and fielding. That's what we need. There we go. Let's see, +2 arm strength, +2. Oh, look at this. Dwayne Hernandez. I actually like Dwayne Hernandez better, right? I mean, look at Darby, right? Does have a -2 in stealing, but if you're trading that for +1, yeah. I mean, +3 arm strength, +2 fielding, +2 speed. The stealing goes down. We only have a couple guys that are really good at stealing, like Billy Hamilton. I think I get good enough jumps right with Hamilton. Let's just go ahead and go this way. I like this option. So let's bump up that offer a little bit to Dwayne. All right, so that should be good for right now. We do need to look at a farm director for hire. And I think what I like Ramon Santiago to be our farm director. This one might get, I have a feeling that this decision might get some backlash, some heat. It might get some heat here. But, Ramon Santiago, guys, with the Detroit Tigers, he was a big focal point, and he was a good clubhouse type of guy. He's been around the Tigers organization for a long time, and I feel like if guys like Dave Dombrowski and Al Avila, who are professionals in their trade, they really like Ramon Santiago. He's a clubhouse type of guy. I think he's ready for a bigger role, right? And I think hiring a guy like Ramon Santiago for farm director would be pretty good. We've got +3 fielding, right? We've got some plate vision, so we got some hitting involved. We got some pitching involved, and we got some steals. This guy's good. He knows the game, right? So if we compare him to Bobby Sutter, we can see that, +3 plate vision, -2 pitching clutch. There's no pitching right there involved with Bobby Sutter, right? So let's just pull the trigger, guys. I think that this might be a good thing for us. So let's go to Ramon Santiago as being our guy. Okay, so we're in a pretty good spot there for him liking that contract offer. So we do have some offers on the board. So just in review, 3-year offers for Dwayne Hernandez to be third base, Freddie Gonzalez to be first, Ramon Santiago as farm director, and Benavides for pitching coach. And like I said, the break is not good as a -3, but the walks and the hits per 9 is very good. So I do like that. For the manager, I'm actually going to go after Doug Brocail. And I think that that's pretty realistic. I have a hard time believing that Joe Madden or Dave Roberts or AJ Hinch, any of those top 3 guys are actually going to lose their jobs. Maybe Buck Showalter is going to be out in Baltimore. But a couple other guys that are down here a ways that I don't want to waste too much time on this are Terry Francona, Don Mattingly, and I think Ned Yost is in there too. Yeah, Ned Yost is down there too. But I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to go after Doug Brocail, because I think he's got some grit to him. I like those gritty type of baseball managers. It's not because it's baseball, right? You need a gritty old type of manager. You don't want any Joe Maddens. No, I appreciate the analytics of the game that Joe Madden has brought to it, and Dave Roberts as well. He's starting to get up there. Even AJ Hinch, right? Buck Showalter's a little bit old school with Ned Yost, but Doug Brocail, he's got some grit, man. He's got some grit, and he used to be a bullpen pitcher. He used to be a relief pitcher back in the '90s when I used to really get into baseball for the Tigers too. So I think Brocale would be a nice guy to add to this coaching staff to try to get these guys fired up, ready to play for an old-timer, right? For an old-timer. Brian Price, he might have been a little too nice. Might have been a little too nice. So I think Brocale would be a good option for this rebuilding Reds team. So he doesn't really like that offer, though. So let's just bump that up a little bit more. Let's go 20 mil. That's still not good enough for Brocale. Let's go 21. And that's a little bit better. So I'm going to actually go ahead and simulate a couple days through, just maybe like to the 3rd, and we'll see what happens. So, okay, so we got Dwayne Hernandez, nothing else. So let's go ahead and look at the staff yet again. We've got, well, Dave Roberts is still on the board. Wow. Look at that. He's really digging the Twins. Brocale is really digging the Twins. 4.5. He's going to manage the Twins for $4.5 million at 3 years. He does still like our offer, but that doesn't mean anything, guys. I've seen it happen so many times before. He'll just, not him, but other managers will just go ahead and go the other way and take less money, right, for not so much of a headache. Let's check this out. Buck Showalter is thinking about joining the Kansas City Royals. Joe Madden drawing interest from the Orioles. Looks like AJ Hinch was hired. Santiago, nobody's going after him. Let's just see if anybody else is going after our guys. They aren't. Yeah, this Doug Brocale thing might be bad. I don't want to lose Brocale. So, okay, we got Santiago. That's good. That is good. Oh, what am I doing here? Review our staff. So Brocale, still liking our offer. No offers there for Freddie or Freddie. That's going to be fun to say that. Looks like Joe Madden was signed. So I tried to go ahead and look, guys, and I don't see anywhere where you can find out where any of those other guys went. So that kind of makes me a little frustrated, but I think we're in a pretty good position for a couple more simulations. Yes, okay, cool. So Doug Brocale is the new Reds manager, and Freddie Gonzalez signed with him. And today's the last day to tender qualifying offers, so that's basically Matt Harvey. So no, we are not going to stop there. We need a hitting coach. I didn't focus on that, did I? Wow, that's an oversight. It's a big-time oversight. Don't kill me for it. Okay, so here's a guy right here, guys. John Ramirez, A attribute, +3 plate discipline, +2 batting clutch, and +1 in contact. Even though we don't drag bunt a whole lot, he would be a pretty good fit. I like this guy. Let's go ahead and make him an offer. Doesn't look like anybody else is really going after him. So I would really hope that we ended up getting him. So let's get our hitting coach and our pitching coach. So wow, interesting development here, guys. Freddie Benavides declined our contract and actually is looking to be the manager of the Kansas City Royals. So I don't want to lose this guy, but we might have to. I mean, look at that. He would rather stay as a pitching coach for us than go to the Royals and be a manager. So that's actually saying something, right? So let's try to keep Freddie happy with some contract negotiations here and see if we can't nab him. So I think if we sign those guys, we'll be fine with our coaching staff. It's looking pretty good right now. It's rounding out. So now is the time, guys, that we're going to actually get into some of these. We got free agents to look at, tender contracts, salary arbitration, and selecting the 40-man roster. I think what we're going to do, though, is I think I'm going to leave the 40-man roster to me because, as you guys can see up here, I mean, it's about a 28-minute video right now. Don't want to take too much longer, but we got 39 men on our 40-man right now. And if you guys look at the best players that we could lose in the Rule 5, nothing's really standing out to me, right? We got some older players like Vance Worley, Kelvin Shackelford. The one guy that I'm actually really worried about is probably Ariel Hernandez or Kairi Mela. So those are probably the two guys that I'm worried about. But we've got until November 20th to focus on that. So I think I'm going to end up doing that on my own. So we'll skip that for now. And I think what we want to focus on is the tender contracts, salary arbitration, and free agents list. So I think I'm just going to head right into the free agent list and show you guys who is on the board and ready to be negotiated with. So we got Jose Altuve, Bryce Harper, Donaldson, Machado, Sale, Miller. I mean, Keuchel's in here, Murphy, Allen, Moustakas, Blackman, Iglesias. This is a star-studded free agent class. Brad Brock, I think Patrick Corbin was in here too. 79 overall, Patrick Corbin. Charlie Morton, 77 over 35 years old though. J Happ, 36 at 78. Harrison wouldn't be too bad. Pollock is pretty good himself. Yeah, I mean, guys, this is a loaded free agent list. Brandon McCarthy, Marwin Gonzalez, Jason Hamill. Marwin might be pretty good for us. Jason Hamill, yeah, I mean, I won't go too far down because now we're starting to get into some guys like Jaime Garcia wouldn't be too bad himself. Duda, I wouldn't be concerned about Duda. Marco Estrada, but when you look at Estrada, he's 35 years old, right? And he's a 74 overall. He's basically Sal Romano, but 10 years older. So I don't really want to focus on that. Manny Parra. Here's Matt Adams. He's been playing pretty good for the Nationals, but again, we don't really need first base right now. This guy's interesting. Richard Strickland, 20 years old. Got a lot of negatives in there, a lot of minuses in the attributes because he wasn't playing. But seems like he's a pretty solid player. Got a lot to work on with the control and the break, though. That's something that he would have to work on. Hunter Pence, 35 years old. Jung Ho Gong. Hyunjin Ryu. Yeah, I mean, so guys, this is a very loaded free agency list. So post in the comment section below if you're an advisor. I mean, even if you're not an advisor, I want to know who you guys would think about wanting to sign. But with those guys in mind, now we have to look at some tendering contract options. Luis Castillo, definitely a guy that we want to bring back. I mean, you guys can see he only wants 4.4 mil for 5 years. So if we tone that down a little bit, it's going to be more cost effective. But in the long term, if you're able to sign him for 5 years, he's going to be 31 years old. And he's going to be locked in to 4.4 per year. So that's pretty big time. And that's why long-term contracts are pretty good, especially if you get a guy whose potential outperforms what you're paying him, right? So, I mean, he gets locked in like that. You know, you're golden, right? So you want to make sure that any of those long-term contracts, you know, they work out. Sal Romano, you know, asking for $790 for 2 years, so he's not asking for a whole lot. I won't get into too much of the contract numbers because those can all change. But I mean, look at guys. I mean, we're basically losing our whole entire freaking team here. Taylor Trammell, only looking for 1.2, looking for a platoon role. Dilson Herrera, Tyler Mahle, Pavin Smith, Jesse Winker. I mean, all of our young guys, like everybody needs to be re-signed. And you know, I'm not asking you guys to list out the players that you would want re-signed, but I think that it's a pretty much a given that all these guys need to be re-signed. Chris Rodriguez needs to be re-signed. Blandino needs to be re-signed. Siri, Hernandez, Jeter Downs, Garcia. You know, all these guys need to be brought back, you know. So maybe some guys we can let go just to make some room for any of our free agents signings that we want to make. But I mean, do we really want to get rid of any of these guys? I don't think we do, honestly. I mean, everybody on this list, like I said, needs to be re-signed. So let's get right into the arbitration screen, guys. This one's a little bit tougher. I think between this one and free agency, is probably the one where the advisors are going to have to really step up, because the tender contracts, like I said, it's pretty much self-explanatory. You have to get those guys signed, and then the 40-man roster, I can just go in and do that. But let's go back into the arbitration screen. So we got Billy Hamilton eligible for arbitration. He wants 11.5 mil at 5 years, 9.1 at 2 years, right? So that's if you just decided to make him an offer. Arbitration, he was making 4.4 last season. So usually you want to go halfway, right? So this is good to kind of know what he's looking for, is an 11.5 or a 9.1 for 2 years. And then if you try to up him to, like, let's say 6.6, then you kind of have that arbitration, or that arbiter, that judge who either sides with Hamilton's side on what he thinks he's worth and what you think he's worth. So yeah, it just depends on, what the CPU thinks is fair for that player, and so on and so forth. So I won't go too much into the arbitration numbers there, like in depth. I'll show you guys what they're looking for, so you guys can kind of make a good decision. So Scooter's asking for 2.6, and he's really asking for 6.3 at 5 years. So, I mean, that's not terrible, especially how good he is. I mean, he's a really good player to have back with us. But I just skipped through Peraza real quick, but look at that, 860 for 2 years, right? And then his arbitration, he was making 78 or 780,000. So that's not too far off. Like, if I wanted to, I should just probably sign Peraza with this contract offer, like right here and right now, because it's pretty close to what he was making last year, and he's still got that A potential, right? So you could probably even bump that up to 3 or 4 years, and he'd still be interested, right? And you're locking him into that. So that wouldn't be too bad of a move. Scott Schebler has to come back, guys. He just absolutely has to. He's making $540K last season, and he's asking for 1.3. That's not terrible at all at 5 years. But even he's even asking for 610. He's not asking for a whole lot of money at all. Like, between these two guys, Peraza and Schebler, like, they have to come back for sure. We got Dave Sclafani making 2.2 last season, asking for 3.8 at 5, 2.3 at 2. I'm just, again, guys, just trying to give you guys some idea of where they were at before and what they're asking for now, and kind of what that looks like if you either expand the years or go lower. So that way we can make a better decision. Phil Gosselin, I feel like I can release. I'm not too interested in bringing him back. Michael Lorenzen, I feel like we really do need to bring him back for sure. Arbitration was 540 last year. Arbitration was 540. Vance Worley, 507. Let's take a look at Finnegan here real quick. 2.4 for 2 years. 3.3 at 4. So, I mean, these aren't bad contracts, even with length and money-wise. They're just not bad. But, again, guys, we do have a lot of time to make our decision. We have until November 23rd to either make an offer or offer arbitration, which is going to be in the next 2 weeks. So the funny thing is that when we look at free agency, we're not going to have 2 weeks to make up our mind if we want to go after a guy like Bryce Harper. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, we don't have that much time. He's going to get his offers, and he's going to probably sign it within a week. Same thing with Donaldson. Same thing with Altuve. Manny Machado's already being pressed by the Orioles to try to get signed as well. So we don't have much time to decide on who we're going to try to sign in the free agents list. Now, we do have a lot of time to decide on what we're going to do with arbitration, with tendering contracts. You can see the deadline is December 2nd. So basically, whoever we decide to sign in free agency, and if we come through with that sign, we might not decide to bring back Billy Hamilton if we get a guy like Bryce Harper, or we might not decide to bring Scott Schebler back either if we get Bryce Harper. I'm not saying I want Bryce Harper. I don't think that he would end up signing with the Reds. I really don't. more like the Yankees or the Cubs or something. But yeah, that's just kind of the game, not MLB The Show, but the kind of the game as far as MLB transactions go in the off season. It's like, how long do you wait? If you sign a guy in the free agents, how long can you wait until you want to start negotiating with the players that are looking for arbitration? So that's going to be it for this episode, guys. I'm actually pretty anxious to see what you guys are going to say in the comment section. And, like I said in the beginning, if you didn't win, don't feel bad. Still make your opinion known. But just know that the advisors are going to have kind of like the final say to bring it to my attention. And then ultimately it's all on me to say yes or to say no. So that's going to be it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. As always, peace.